Hey YouTube, Peterbilt Knife Guy, and today we're gonna beat a dead horse. Now when I say I'm gonna beat a dead horse, it's because I've already showcased this knife a few times on my channel, and that is because I feel it is a fantastic knife. This is the Architect AK 5.5 in cpm3v. This is a combination of companies that make this knife happen. It is basically a White River Knives blade with SE6 handles and a Peters heat treat, and sold through the Knife Connection or Architect Knives. If this is your first time seeing this on my channel, I've already done some reviews on this. It's a fantastic knife. The point of this video today, though, is a couple things. One, this knife wasn't perfect how it came. It wasn't very slicey. The factory edge was very sharp, but it wasn't up to par. It didn't like to bite into wood very good. So I took care of that. And second off, I have had questions on this knife versus the Architect 6.5 and which would I prefer. Actually, Gabriel, the Last Huntsman, go check out his channel, asked me, he says, which one would you prefer, you know, if I had to pick one? And that's a tough one because number one, I like big chopper knives, and this thing's definitely more choppy, but also this guy's more user-friendly for day-to-day use. It's a love-hate thing because this kind of falls into the category of, I find, just almost a useless knife. And it's not useless, it's probably the most useful knife. But for me, I either like big choppers or small EDC fixed blades. And you know, a 5 to 6 inch knife just kind of doesn't fall into that range for me. But for camp tasks and stuff like that, and just, you know, your mileage may vary, but I just don't find this size knife to be the one I grab the most. Do I love them? Is it the most in my collection, these size knives? Absolutely. But there's a couple things about this one that makes me like this one more. First off, there is a blade thickness difference. This stock is just a hair over 3/16, and this one's just 5/32, I think. If I'm wrong, I'll put it in here. But it's thinner, which, being the fact that these are both high saber grinds, this one's way more slicey, or it should be. It wasn't, but now it is. And another thing too, I'm not a finger choil guy. I don't need a finger choil. This knife, I don't need a finger choil to get in there and do some fine tasks. This one, I'm not a bushcrafter. Maybe this is a bushcraft knife, I don't freaking know. But I am not personally a finger choil guy. So there's that. But yeah, if this thing didn't have a finger choil, it'd be way higher in my book. So finger choil, the thickness of the knife, I don't think choppers should have finger choils. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, your mileage may vary. You want a slicey knife, you want to get up in there close, get a smaller knife. Big knives with finger choils is just the stupidest thing in my opinion. I know people disagree because a lot of people love it, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, if I would have to choose between these two, I would definitely pick the 5.5, more slicey. And now she's rocking a 16 degrees per side, convexed, pretty close to mirror edge on there. It's hard to show, but dang, this thing came to life after doing that. Ooh, let me tell you, it is wicked sharp. You're not going to be able to tell, but just absolutely deadly freaking sharp. I don't know how to do this, show you on camera just how freaking sharp this thing is, but yeah, it's listen, you could barely hear it go through the freaking paper. Just glides through effortlessly, versus, you know, this knife, which is also very sharp, but listen, there's an audible difference there. It's freaking yeah, I'm big on that. And then another thing I was thinking too is, the reason I like this knife so much is the first SE knife that I ever purchased was an SE5, And SE5 is a fantastic knife, but the drawback of it is freaking 1/4 inch thick with a medium saber grind. You know, it comes like halfway up the blade, so it's a freaking tank, but for a 5-inch knife, it's just too heavy. So if you were ever interested into the SE5, but didn't want that freaking 1-pound monster that doesn't slice very good on your hip, I mean, this thing is it right here. 3V is so strong that, you know, a 3/16 inch blade of 3V, like this guy, is probably just as strong, if not stronger, than a 1/4 inch thick piece of 1095, you know? So you get the strength, you're getting lighter weight, you get the same capability and more capability with this Architect 5.5. I did buy both of these. These aren't given to me. I'm not a shill for the company. I just, you know, it just is what it is. I like what they have. I like what they did. Some people said they copied SE. They didn't. They literally got permission to use the handle scales. These blade shapes are pretty much, you know, this is a standard blade shape. So does it look like a Survive knives? Yes. Does it look like a this knife? Yes. It looks like a lot of freaking knives because this blade shape has been around for a long freaking time. So I don't know why people have hang-ups on stuff like that. But anyways, let's go chop something. See what happens. Now, when I said chop, I was kind of lying. We're not going to chop anything. We are going to do some slicing. Try a little bit of feather sticks. This one is the factory edge. It's extremely sharp, but I'm just going to show you that just with that factory V edge, it just doesn't want to feather the way you would want it to feather. It just doesn't do it for me. It's not that good. It'll do it, but poorly. Now with this new convex edge, oh, she just bites in. Wow. Okay, so first off, I suck at doing feather sticks, so, but you can just see how much it wants to bite in versus this guy right here. It doesn't want to bite in that well, where this one is just like, wow, just bites in. But let's see if we can get some feathers going. I suck at this. Almost bites in too much, to be honest with you. That and being, like I said, the world's worst feather sticker. So yeah, the curls aren't supposed to go everywhere, but because I suck at life, they do. Let's try this. Let's try this one again. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is I just don't want to do it. This one again. You know, if I was better at feather sticking, it would be a different story, but because I suck at it, it's this new edge is way better for this. So I will be reprofiling this 6.5. I probably won't go 15 degrees or 16 degrees like I did on this one. Maybe a 20-degree convex on this. I still think it'll wake up the knife a little bit because this one is definitely more of a chopper. And I'm not saying like a big chopper, but let's move you up here. It has a little bit more capabilities to chop than the 5.5. Just because it's sheer mass. Let's try this one, see what happens. Yeah, I mean, it'll do it, but barely. It just doesn't have that thump of a larger knife. So let's go back inside. So anyways, if you were on the fence between either one of these, I would say definitely, well, it depends on what you want to go for, but If you want a good user camp knife, get them both. If you want one that's probably a little bit more user friendly, I would get this guy for camp use and stuff like that. A little more choppy, yeah, this one. Let's see if my edge took any damage. No, not at all. This 3V holds up fantastic. The Peters heat treatment they do on these is fantastic. The steel's fantastic. The price is fantastic. This whole setup right here is $220. That is not bad for a USA made cpm3v setup with Peters heat treat. You just can't beat it. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching.